What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of the Forgotten Race Review. Today, at the request of Ferret Family, we'll be covering not a race, but rather a template. Specifically, we're cracking open planes of power and digging into the back to the bestiary to talk about the Element-Infused creature template. If you guys have any requests for this series, as always, throw it in the comments. We'll get right on it. And as always, this channel is directly supported through patronage. This episode of the Forgotten Race Review was brought to you in part by Chris Ward. Chris, my friend, my ghost patron, he knows what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for your time and support. Now, let's get to it. So all across fantasy, we see things, usually probably monstrous things, that are made of fire, lightning, perhaps water or ice, or even animated earth. A good example of this off the top of my head is from Disney's Hercules. When the Titans are released, they're kind of just giant elementals. There's no real precedent in my head that I can think of for a specific place anywhere where something might be born half of an elemental in general fantasy, but of course, again, beings made of something like fire or water or a specific one certain thing rather than the various things that make up, say, a human body, are definitely out there. In Pathfinder, there exist several planes of existence. For all the planes' potential, some of their greatest mysteries still remain theories at best, and as a result, no one has managed to reconcile the paradoxes of the planes despite their theoretically infinite size in all dimensions. The inner planes of existence abut one another at known boundaries. This phenomenon is most apparent between the elemental planes, the planes specifically of air, water, fire, and earth, and that's where the element-infused creature gains its power. In Pathfinder, an element-infused creature is the result of an unpredictable elemental event which causes planar energies to infuse mundane creatures with otherworldly power, and that transforms them into element-infused creatures. So unlike every other video in this series, this is not a specific race, this is a template. Templates are things we can add to anything that qualifies for them. Usually this is a GM thing, to give a certain creature more power, more versatility, different things it could do. I've made several characters with several templates, and in my opinion, I think templates are a great way to balance out tables that might have some players that min-max and some players that are just there for fun, or in Gestalt settings, if a certain player doesn't want to do all the bookkeeping that certainly comes with Gestalting, let them have a template. Let them be a half-dragon fighter or a half-fiend cleric of Zon-Kuthon or anything in between, because there are definitely a bajillion templates out there that we can slap onto a creature of any type, again, that qualifies, do a little bit of math, and you've got a thing. But let's get down to it. The Element-Infused template is an inherited or acquired template that can be added to any living corporeal creature. That creature retains the base creature's statistics and special abilities. So your human fighter is still a human fighter just as much as your Strix wizard is, and everything in between. The Element-Infused creature has a strong connection to one or two of the elemental planes. Unlike most templates, the Element-Infused template grants few universal abilities. Rather, it gives the creature a choice of several different defensive, offensive, and movement-based abilities that match its particular element or elements. In this way, no two Element-Infused creatures are created alike. In order for an Element-Infused creature to select a given ability, at least one of an Element-Infused creature's elements must match one of those listed in parentheses after the ability's name. For abilities that reference an energy type, the energy type chosen must be associated with one of the creature's elements. Acid is earth, cold is water, electricity is air, and of course fire is in fact fire. The number of movement abilities, defensive abilities, and offensive abilities are based on the creature's hit dice, which is shown in this convenient chart. In addition, an Element-Infused creature with 4 or more hit dice gains 1 or more bonus abilities that it can use to select additional abilities from any of these categories. A creature infused with only one element gains 1 additional bonus ability. Now, I personally think that the challenge rating system in Pathfinder is a little on the arbitrary side. Things like party makeup, the ability of the player to make an optimized character, the setting that you're playing in, things like that will inform the challenge of encounters more than the CR does. But if you subscribe to these things, if the creature has 9 hit dice or fewer, we treat it as a creature of CR plus 1. If that creature has 10 hit dice or more, the creature's CR increases by 2. In addition, the creature's type changes to Native Outsider. In addition, the creature gains the air, earth, fire, or water subtypes corresponding to its element or elements. Of course, we do not recalculate our hit dice, our base attack, or our saves. The Element-Infused creature gains dark vision with a range of 60 feet and can choose from a plethora of abilities. We won't necessarily talk about all of them here. Page 56 of the Planes of Power Splat book, or the Element-Infused template on the SRD of your choosing, will get you more information. But to quickly sum it up, we're looking at things like damage reduction, energy immunity or resistance, evasion, breath weapons, a swim speed, a burrow speed, a fly speed, earth glide. A lot of fun, flavorful, and frankly, powerful stuff. The Element-Infused creature also gains a +4 bonus to 2 ability scores of its choice, a +2 bonus to 2 other ability scores, and a -2 to 1 ability score, again, of its choice. If the creature we're applying the Element-Infused template to has racial hit dice, it gains a number of skill points per racial hit die equal to 6 plus its intelligence modifier. Class skills are unchanged, and class level skills remain unaffected, but if we were to apply this to, say, an animal, it would gain a lot more skills per level than it would normally have. Lastly, our Element-Infused creature gains an elemental language, or languages, associated with its elemental type, as long as it has an intelligence score of 3 or higher. If you're associated with the plane of water, you speak Aquan, Auran for air, Ignan for fire, or for earth, Terran. If the base creature is unable to speak, it instead learns to understand the acquired language. Okay, so the first thing I have to say about these templates is it's a one-way ticket to Flavor Town. In some games, if we want to be something along the lines of the son of an Ifrit, we might be something like an Ifrit, or even just a sorcerer with the Ifrit bloodline. This is a much more direct connection to a character of that nature. As such, that opens up a lot more avenues of roleplay than you would normally see in a standard game of Pathfinder. It seems a little daunting at first, and in some settings, adding templates is a one-way ticket to breaking the game, but I have definitely GM'd for several half-fiends, half-celestials, half-dragons, awakened creatures, animal lords, that's probably my favorite template, lycanthropes, crazy things of that nature. And really, if you just bump up the CRs of things, you're perfectly fine. You also, as the GM, have the ability to build encounters and the world around them, maybe not necessarily for 100% of things, but for some things, to challenge that particular character. For example, if it's an earth-infused creature with a burrow speed and earth glide, make floors they can't go through, or worse, make the floors radioactive once you get under the surface. Creatures that fly, much like a Wyvaran, and hey, we talked about the Wyvaran back in the day. You can follow this card right up here if you didn't get a chance to check that video out. Are beaten by low ceilings, high winds, or things that fly better. If you have a swim speed, well, no water, solves that one pretty easily. I could go on forever. The point is, if you have a player who wants to try this kind of thing, I say by all means let them. And if you are that player, if you're wanting to break out a template, the Element-Infused one is definitely a fun one to break out, and if I were to use this template, I would have a lot of fun just messing around with the table and building a character specifically tailored to what it is I want to do. Unlike things like the half-dragon template or the half-celestial template, there's a lot of moving pieces here, and that's one of my favorite parts about Pathfinder. You can literally tailor your character the way you want to tailor them, and I think that's super sweet. But what do you guys think about all this template craziness? Do you allow templates in your games? Have you played a character with a template? And what do you think specifically about the Element-Infused template? Maybe even we'll see some monsters with this template in Doomsday Dawn. And you guys have exactly 2 weeks to follow this card right up here if you want to play the Pathfinder playtest adventure. 6 lucky subscribers are going to run through it right here on Black Dragon Gaming. Remember, patronage at any tier gets you an extra entry, and hey, you know, if we can get up to like $300 on Patreon, I'll take another group through. Anyway, that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. I'm sorry to say, Ferret family, if you're still out there, by popular demand, we'll get to your second template the week after next, because way too many people have asked for this next race for me to just keep ignoring it. The next episode of the Forgotten Race Review, where we cover by popular demand the Goblin, drops next Monday.